This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. Life can be overwhelming, and sometimes we may not even realize that we're burned out. Symptoms of burnout can manifest in all sorts of ways, like lack of motivation, feeling helpless or trapped, detachment, fatigue, and more. Do I feel those things? Let me see. Yes, and yes. Do I know that I'm feeling something or actually know how to deal with any of them? No, not really. That stuff simply just happens to me when I'm going through day-to-day life, and I kind of consider a state where I'm flustered or off to be normal. Then I'll exercise or get away or communicate with someone, and I feel a lot closer to myself. Talking with someone, so amazing. It can help you figure out what's causing stress in your life. BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and No Dunks listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/nodunks. That's BETTERHELP.com/nodunks.
Well, any sugar daddies at Walmart today? I heard y'all was having a sale. What aisle is sugar daddies on? Looking for sugar daddies? Anybody know which aisle they're on?
Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. The boys are back in the Classic Factory here on a Monday, May 2nd. I'm J.E. Skeets, and alongside me, as always, Tass Mellis.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
What's up, Tassie? We got our top shot hot boy, Trey Kirby.
Hey, yo.
The international man of mystery, taking it to the max, Lee Ellis.
Friend.
Lily. And last, certainly not least, super producer, JD.
Hello.
There he is, and here we are. Shout out to the stream team for joining us live right now on YouTube. Take a second, like the video, subscribe to No Dunks on YouTube, comment away, share the show. Send in your questions too, all week long, to nodunks@theathletic.com. My man Tassie was looking ahead at the playoff schedule, and you realized no games on Thursday night.
Interesting
What up with
scheduling
that?
twerk.
Yeah. So Friday, prime opportunity to hit the beach.
Absolutely.
An all beach episode, I say, right?
Yes.
Why not? Get your questions in. NoDunks@theathletic.com. Tweet them in @NoDunksInc or leave them in the YouTube comments. Okay, right into it. We got two bangers to talk about from Sunday. We'll get into the Joel Embiid update with his injury. Look ahead to those games on tonight. But we'll start with Grizzlies-Warriors. Why not? The Warriors rally after the Draymond Green ejection. Beat the Grizzlies in Game 1, 117-116. What a game.
Let's start with just basketball in Memphis. That was great. A second round game. It felt so good for that to happen. It hasn't happened since the Warriors trumped the Grizzlies back in 15. We were there in January. It just felt amazing to have basketball there. I read a blog post on Grizzly Bear Blues today. Made me tear up a little bit because the writer was actually tearing up. There was kids involved. There was crying involved. Anyways, forget about that for a second. That's wonderful. The juxtaposition of this is the Grizzlies messed up. They needed to win this game real bad, unfortunately. I think this is the Warriors series now. After what happened, I didn't want to start with all the officiating crap, but the fact that Draymond Green goes out in the first half for a Warriors team that really has 1.5 centers. Kevon Looney played the second half and started there. James Wiseman is out. They had to play tiny, and they won this game, and it was a lot of heart, a lot of fight, and the fact that, John Morant can't be stopped. Jaren Jackson Jr. had a great game, but there were so many coverage lapses there for the Grizzlies in the fourth quarter where Curry was missing open shots and Clay was missing open shots, and John Morant missed 2 opportunities in the last 30 seconds to win this game, and the Warriors just out-scrapped the Grizzlies. They played Andrew Wiggins at center for the last 2 minutes. Andrew Wiggy had a huge offensive rebound. He's leading this team in rebounds throughout the playoffs. He had 8 boards in this game. Everybody chipping in. Poole with this 31. Curry stopped Ja Morant on that opportunity with 30 seconds. He said, I shut that shit down. He did block Ja Morant there. Clay with the 3. He did miss 2 free throws, but they escaped with a win there without Draymond Green, without a guy who can come back now after being tossed in the first half, with Brandon Clark of the Grizzlies saying post-game, that happens. That guy is known for getting tossed in games. I think that screws the Grizzlies a little bit. I mean, Draymond Green's got something now to play for to shut now Ja Morant down to some degree, because it's going to be hard to shut Jaren Jackson Jr. down. But I just think all of these factors, with Morant going for 30 plus, Jaren Jackson Jr. going for 30 plus, and them missing so many coverages, and them getting calls, not only the Draymond Green ejection, but all these other bogus things that happen. It sucks for the Grizzlies that they didn't get this one. I mean, it just felt good, Grizzlies basketball back in the second round, but the Warriors just did enough. Just enough. Yeah. All those guys contributing. Kevon Looney, he had a pick and roll where he got a pass and drove the lane and scored. I'm like, what is happening here? That's Kevon Looney. I think they all just chipped in just enough. They came out of that locker room and shut down the Grizzlies in a game that they absolutely should have won.
Demoralizing loss for the Grizzlies, like Tass said there, all things considered. They should have had this one. I think Tim Kawakami of The Athletic said it felt like the Warriors took more than a 1-0 lead last night with that victory. Do you agree or disagree?
I mean, it's just one game, but this definitely felt like a stealing of a Game 1 win for the Warriors. Yeah. It seemed like everything went against the Warriors, which means Memphis really should have won this one. Probably the only bad bit of luck they really had was that Desmond Bane didn't really get on track at all, and he was maybe their best player in the first round. But yeah, seeing Klay Thompson miss a couple of free throws, you're like, those are a couple of points right there that the Grizzlies could take advantage of. So yeah, I'm kind of with Tass. Like, the Grizzlies didn't play incredibly well. The Warriors didn't play incredibly well, but you could see the championship pedigree that the Warriors have to make enough plays down the stretch to play defense. Klay Thompson, like, forcing Ja to have to keep going left rather than be able to go straight up at the rim and maybe draw a foul or something like that. Just tiny little plays. Steph Curry on defense was enough to pull the Warriors across the line here. So yeah, I thought this was an awesome win, especially for the Warriors. They won the rebounding battle in this game. Like, Wiggins has been amazing on the glass, doing exactly what he needs to do. Like, if he's not just out there to grab offensive rebounds, it really helps the Warriors because they're going to be playing small, especially once Draymond went out. But yeah, the Warriors, they contributed last night. Yeah, they probably didn't deserve to win that game, but playing the way they did, they did.
What do you think, Lee?
Well, they scouted the last play really well as well, because they saw what Ja did against the Timberwolves and they were ready for it. And he got a good look. There was nothing wrong with the look. Yeah. I mean, that could have easily dropped in. It just didn't. So instead, it's like great big win here for the Warriors. But I think the Grizzlies are still going to feel okay. Yeah. They hung with them well enough. Jaren Jackson, if he can play like this, because he struggled in the first round, 6 for 9 from 3. He was throwing the ball at the hoop, just shooting free willy out there, and they were going in.
Did you see that one replay? That one replay that shows the lack of ball rotation on his shot?
Yeah.
It was like, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It was like from behind, and it was a real close. It's crazy how little it actually rotates.
He shot.
But he was on fire. I'm a little question, like, is he going to do that again?
Well, that's
right.
He
shot 6 threes again.
He shot 30% in the first round. Yeah. And a couple of these ones were sort of like, hero ballish.
He was feeling it.
But fine, they went in. Yeah. And Ja Morant was great. But Jordan Poole, I think, for the Warriors was incredible in this game. Some of the passing, he almost had a triple-double off the bench for them. So it feels like Steve Kerr has decided, okay, we're going back now to him coming off the bench. And how tough does that make it now for the Grizzlies when you've got a guy coming out shooting like that, but passing as well? He made some incredible passes there, Jordan Poole. The growth he's shown this season from where he was at the start, just firing away, to now he's like patient, waiting, making an extra pass, making the right play, is incredible for them. So, I mean, I've picked the Warriors. Well, we didn't, I suppose, do it, but I would have picked the Warriors to win the series anyway. But I think it's going at least 6 or 7. The Grizzlies, they've got that sort of young, arrogant swagger where they're not intimidated at all. And you saw Ja Morant down the stretch there, just going inside, believing in himself. But a couple of times, I will say, that offense was a little bit stagnant too down the stretch, where it was just like catch and shoot a 3. They need to just keep moving the ball around, I think.
I would add to this list of great contributions from Warriors players, I don't think we said his name yet, Gary Payton II. Getting the start, John Morant doing work on him, but then, I mean, he was playing down the stretch here, and you talked about Wiggins doing work on the offensive glass. How about Gary Payton?
Huge one.
The second, I mean, he had a big dunk in this game too, but holy crap, it felt like he was coming up with like timely rebound after timely rebound, even the one where he grabbed it and then he bobbled it while he was falling to the ground, and then we had the whole thing like, who's it out on and all that, but he was awesome too, for them to pull this off. What'd you think about the Draymond Green flagrant 2
we're
call.
going
Let's
there,
get into
baby.
it. We might as well. I mean, he had his emergency podcast.
Oh, I know. That's why he wanted to get off. I think he's like, okay.
Well, we were hoping he was going to do it at halftime. That's what NBA Twitter was wondering. But he waited till after the game, after he celebrated in the hallway there with his guys pulling out the victory. But I guess 2 questions. One, do you think the officials got it right, that he should have been ejected for what he did to Clark? And then 2, if you don't, or maybe even if you do, will the league rescind that at all from a flagrant 2 to a flagrant 1? What do you think?
It was wild because they had Steve Javie come on, the official come on and say it's a flagrant 1. The fourth official, the voice of God come on and say it's a flagrant 1, and the officials go against that and call it a flagrant 2. And all of basketball Twitter was saying, no way, that's a flagrant 1.
Right.
Even if it's Draymond Green and people hate him. They were just calling it a flagrant 1. Can't toss the guy. I will say, though, I think all of our opinions were sort of colored by the fact that there wasn't a really good replay of him smacking the crap out of Brandon Clark's face. I had to go deep into Twitter to find a smack of Brandon Clark's face. He did smack his face.
Yeah.
Now, Brandon Clark can take a shot like he's Chris Rock up there. He just handled it so well. He didn't move, and that's, I think, was part of why people thought it was a flagrant 1. And then some people thought, he was holding him up by his jersey. He was trying to save him from falling.
Because he grabs onto his jersey and then
To
he
throw
tries
him
to
down.
sort of then try and keep him up.
Yeah, but first he tried to throw him down before he tried to pick him up. It was like a flagrant 1.5. I mean, it's a basketball.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like there were 2 flagranty parts of it.
Yeah,
Smack
you
the
can
face
see-
and yank him down. But we didn't even see, I think, the replay. I think that's a part of it.
I agree with you. The one they were showing us on the broadcast of the smacking in the head, every time you saw that one angle, they showed us did he eat? You couldn't even really tell if he had hit him in the head and how hard he hit him in the head, if he grazed him and all that. And then there was another clip going around. You're like, oh yeah, he did hit him. And that's a flagrant 1 in today's game. It just is. You're hitting the guy in the head. That's going to be the flagrant 1. It then comes into this whole, did he pull him down? Should he be almost rewarded because he's trying to keep him up at the end and all of that? But you can see why the refs were like, it's a flagrant 1 for the hit, and it's a flagrant 1 because he pulls the guy down out of the air. Now, I disagree overall. I think it should have just been a flagrant 1 in a big playoff game. You don't want to see any sort of player thrown out for that. But I guess that's their thinking. That's how they got to flagrant 2, right?
Exactly. You get the flagrant 1, no doubt, for facial contact. That's an easy flagrant 1 right there. And it's almost like a precedent-setting sort of thing, I think, calling it a flagrant 2, because you don't want to have players grabbing each other's jerseys when they're in the air. And I know Draymond didn't really grab the jersey that much and yank him down. There was certainly jersey contact. Unfortunately, there's not a flagrant 1.5, because that feels like perfect to me. It wasn't bad. It wasn't a nasty hit, I didn't think, from Draymond on Brandon Clark. But also, you do have to protect the player who's jumping up in the air. So you can't say it's okay if you kind of accidentally grab somebody's jersey, because then we'll have a bunch of people accidentally grabbing jerseys. So right call and wrong call at the same time. We didn't want to see Draymond ejected. They will probably rescind this to a flagrant 1.
Do you think they will? Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Just because this guy's the points man,
Well, that's right.
He's going to be campaigning for it.
Yeah, he'll get an automatic suspension if he gets a flagrant 2 again in the playoffs.
4 flagrant foul points, and then you go.
Yeah, and already he has 2 points, right?
Yeah.
So you're right.
The rule says if it's interpreted as unnecessary and excessive.
Right.
I think it was excessive in that he yanked him and got him across the face, but not unnecessary in that it was a playoff foul.
Yeah.
So it was more than a flagrant 1, but not quite a flagrant 2.
Well,
Therefore,
I agree. I think I did my adding up of how they got to flagrant 2. I think they gave him straight up 1 flagrant point for the hit to the face. He hits him in the face, and again, some people say, did he really hit him that hard in the face? He didn't wind up and smack him, but generally, I'm with you, Lee. You pop a guy in the head, and you're going to get the flagrant, the 1. I think they then gave him a half a flagrant point for the pull down. There's that. You guys are saying 1.5. Mm-hmm. And then I wonder, did they give him the final half flagrant point for Draymond's reputation? Let's be honest. I think it does come into play. A bit of a clueless officiating crew. They had a bad game overall.
Yes.
There's that. And then the Grizzlies crowd did a great job of
kick him out.
firing him up,
Throw
applying
him out,
pressure, throw him out. I
Yeah.
think that's how you get the 1, the half, and the half, and then you get to the 2. But I really wonder if the league will rescind this, or if they'll stand behind Kane Fitzgerald and the boys and say,
Kane and the
Clark
boys.
didn't leave the game. He's not injured, so maybe they do look at it. But the thing is, when a guy's in the air and you grab his jersey like that, that's dangerous in basketball.
Yeah.
That is dangerous. And Draymond was careless in his action there. I don't think he was malicious, but he was sort of careless because he got beat and he fouled him, and he just said, "Well, you're definitely not getting the shot up." So, history now will become a factor. It's like, can we trust Draymond to go out there and not get another flagrant 2 at all for the playoffs? Probably, but
really?
Well, I mean, a flagrant. He walks a very fine line, Draymond, and then all that carrying on afterwards with the crowd. I don't think that helps.
I don't think it helps his case either with the league rescinding.
Exactly. That's where I think the league will just say, if you didn't do that, maybe we take it back. But I think they do have to stand behind the officials and say, okay. Like we're saying, it wasn't quite flagrant 2, but it was way more than a flagrant, or more than a flagrant 1. So therefore, well, hold on. But who knows?
Man,
because
this is like our problem with the dunk contest. We have no half points to give on dunks.
But Draymond, I mean,
it's like an 8 or a 9. Why can't I give it an 8.5?
The Steven Adams thing, he was kicking guys in the nuts until he finally got caught up with him. So he needs to be a little bit careful in how he does it.
It's not going to change at all.
No, I know, but...
No, I mean, I can't even, that's why this being rescinded or not is actually important. You can't convince me, that this could, if they went on to the second round, or the third round, or even the finals, that, the flagrant 4 points coming back to haunt him again, like we saw in the 2016.
I can't believe we're still talking about
That's
this.
crazy.
We're still talking about these points, like we were talking about in the 2017 finals.
So they don't start again.
16
They
finals.
don't start again in the next round or the finals.
They start just in the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
And that's I think the agreement that we came to is start it every single playoff series. If you're doing this points thing, I mean, 2 flagrants in one playoff series, suspension. But 1 in each series, 2 flagrant 2s throughout the playoffs? Come on.
Come on. I mean, that's too much.
I know, but the way they're calling
the
them...
entire playoffs is too many times to get a flagrant 2.
I don't know. I mean, he went after the ball. I think it would have been way worse. It would have been a flagrant 2, undoubtedly, if Brandon Clark throws his head back.
Yeah.
And
or he's just,
crumples to the ground or something. I mean, he took it really, really, really well. And I think, the consensus with Steve Javy in the watching the monitor and all of us was so different because we didn't see a good replay. We just didn't.
So you think the officials,
I don't know
Kane
if they
and the
got it
boys,
wrong.
were maybe seeing different angles?
Yeah, I think so. Well, I think they saw that one where he got shocked.
Yeah,
but the fact that the Warriors were able to bounce back right into the third quarter.
Yeah.
I mean, I am happy in a way, and I want the Grizzlies to make this a series, but I'm kind of happy in a way that the Warriors won this game, and we're not leading the show with this Draymond Green talk, and they didn't have a center because Kevon Looney came out and everybody boarded, Wiggins and Peyton and all that, and the Grizzlies.
Otto Porter Jr. even.
Yeah.
8 boards for Big Otto.
Otto man.
It was phenomenal, and the Grizzlies got to take solace in the fact that Gary Payton II started in this game. The Warriors made their first adjustment pre-series. I mean, the Grizzlies are forcing the Warriors' hand, and Morant went off.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, he was great getting into the lane. Now, I'm worried about both Grizzlies' 3-ball shooters. Jaren Jackson Jr. 6 of 9, and even Morant shooting 4 of 11.
Yeah.
Just allowing him to shoot as many as he wants. I don't know if that continues. Yeah, you're right about Desmond Bane. He stunk. Dylan Brooks also shot selection stunk.
Dylan Brooks.
His shooting style is.
Dylan Brooks goes from Kobe to John Starks in the blink of an eye. It's really, really amazing because. I mean, your Trey off camera is doing this here, get out of here.
He stinks.
But he doesn't. He doesn't stink. This is the thing. He'll have a 25-point game, and he plays hard defense.
I'll take Melton over Brooks all day.
No, I think you're going too far. But I won't deny that the guy is, when he's off, he is off, and he doesn't care. He's he has no I'm 1 for 10 tonight. Maybe don't jack this one. I agree with that. He will. I guess it's a curse when in those games where he doesn't have it going. It's dude, don't take that. You're forcing that. But he will have good games in this series. He's just crazy polarizing.
I think of all the Grizzlies, he's the most likely to leave at some point because I think they're building around other guys looking forward.
Sure.
I thought he could have been the guy who was moved at the deadline. Anyway, it was a rough one for them. I think what's more likely to happen, Brooks and Bane shoot well, or Clay and Curry hit some threes. I think it's Clay and Curry hit some of those open threes because they were just getting wide open threes. The Grizzlies were making too many mistakes, and And maybe the Grizzlies, I don't know, Jaren Jackson Jr., he can hit shots. Maybe he continues.
Oh, he's going to have, I think, like, it's more likely he has another game like this in this series. I mean, 6 threes is 6 threes, and he was letting them fly. But, like, what compared to last round, where it's just like,
yes.
you know, he couldn't stay on the floor and stuff like that. He just there's more of a role for him here because of also, like, where he can operate in this game, that he's probably not picking up a bunch of dumb fouls. So he'll just be he'll have a chance to be out there more. So maybe he can replicate that.
I thought he should have played more than 31 minutes.
Yeah, that's what people were saying.
That was kind of odd.
Yep.
But yeah, he's got a great opportunity, and so does Morant. I mean, they started Gary Payton II, but how do you slow him down? Just hope he misses some shots and give him the 3 ball, which they did. So that's a smart move, I think, by the Warriors. But I don't know, the Grizzlies do feel good going into game 2, but the Warriors do too.
They're like the old Raptors losing the first game at home. That's just their way of doing it, you know, and then they bounce back. But I wonder what they're going to do here with the starting position, because Tillman, again, there's no point in starting him, I don't think. I would bring back Adams at this point and just see if he can have an impact. He wasn't really obviously effective in the last series, but I think he'd be better than what they're getting out of Tillman at this point.
He is in health and safety protocols still, Steven Adams is, but I'm not sure when he comes out of that. Yeah, he was.
Why don't they just start Brandon Clark? He's been awesome the entire playoffs. You could play your 2 best big guys all the minutes.
Yeah.
I think that would be a smart move, and I actually think that Gary Payton II should probably go to the bench for the Warriors as well. It was a little bit of an overthink to me to start him just because you want him on John Morant. Like, the Warriors are an offense-first team. You saw with Poole starting there in the second half. They blew him out in the third quarter, and that's really where the game turned, because the Warriors are impossible to defend, and you're forcing John Morant into a lot more actions if he's got to D up on Jordan Poole, who obviously had a major second half. So I would expect to see a little bit more of that. The new death lineup, whatever you want to call it, coming into game 2.
Yeah, and more Otto Porter. I know, he's just a name who's thrown out there, but the third quarter was key, and the beginning of the fourth quarter without Steph on the floor, where they need big man defense. I know Peyton. It's interesting, and you throw him out there on Morant, but Morant's going by everybody, including Peyton. And the big man defense was key, obviously with Draymond Green out. I think that's the most important part. Stopping John Morant is stopping him at the rim, and Porter's their next best big man, besides Draymond Green. Looney did a good job when he was out there. It seems like the Warriors do have options. The guts for Steve Kerr is pretty amazing. That the guy who was 15th on their roster, the 15th man, barely made the team in training camp, is starting here in the second round. They just throw out whatever starting lineup they want, and it seems to work. Obviously, I mean, they could have easily lost this game with all the missed shots, like Curry missing and Clay missing. That's why it stinks for the Grizzlies, is that it just felt like this one was needed for them.
It was a big game for jump balls.
Oh, God.
It's a good
Practice your jump balls, because I think there was, not the ones like obviously start the game stuff like that, but like 3 really key, like we got to grab this. And there everybody, and you go just to go back to your idea of like you're almost happy the Warriors won, in part because of the Draymond injection.
Right.
Maybe it shouldn't have been, but then if they had gone on to lose the Warriors, the uproar of like, what are we doing with instant replay where we seem to use it all the time except when there's 5 seconds left in the game and we're not sure who it went out on at the end. And let's just jump it up.
Oh, God.
I mean, that is pretty crazy.
It is crazy.
Yeah, but obviously they escaped, the Warriors did.
I understand. They changed the rules so the referees wouldn't be looking at the monitor to see who it. Remember last year in the playoffs? They were looking at the monitor like every 5 seconds, like every play in the last 2 minutes. So they changed that, but that should be looked at in Secaucus, right? It should be looked at in Secaucus.
Yeah, because they got it wrong, too.
They got it wrong, yeah.
I mean, it was going to be the Warriors' ball. I was out on the
been.
Grizzlies, and they got the jump ball. I'm
They
talking
got
about
a
the
jump
last
ball.
one.
Yeah, and that was
that led to Jaws miss.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that the one where
They did a jump ball, called the timeout, and then they drew up that beauty play to get him moving, and obviously
because there was one jump ball where they reset the shot clock to 24, and that was weird, and then they put it back to 14 when the Warriors got possession, which was weird. Even Mike Breen, I think, on the call was a bit surprised on that.
So I know you guys were busy this weekend. You were camping, you were doing indoor skydiving. We'll have to hear about that later, but Did you have a chance to tweet your prediction? Because I got mine out there. I said Warriors in 7 before the game. Maybe you didn't. Or what's your prediction? Let's get those on record here. I know you got a game under your belt now.
No, I was going to pick the Warriors anyway, and probably 6, because
Okay,
I think the experience does get them over the line here in the end, and they'll have a chance to close it out at home. I think that's the key here.
Okay.
Warriors, honestly, looking great again. Without Steph and Clay being like super Steph and Clay,
Yeah.
I think once they get back to Golden State, they're going to be a lot tougher out there.
I can't believe this team now has the advantage of, like, we have Curry and Clay, 2 of the greatest ever when it comes to shooting the ball. And it's like, well, now 1 or maybe even 2 of them can play bad because we have a third guy that's basically just doing an impersonation of them. I keep saying this, but it's like, it's blowing my mind that Jordan Poole is proving in a lot of these games here in the playoffs, high stakes moments, that he's like can do a hell of a job replicating like what they do. I mean, he was awesome. I mean, don't need to beat that drum, but okay, I have Warriors in 7. I made that one prior to this game. I do think it's going to still be a series, though that one is tough for Memphis to lose. But where are you going?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to say what I thought my prediction was before game 1. I would say Warriors in 6 as well,
Okay.
although it feels like it's going to be a little shorter now with what happened. Yeah, for sure. I mean, the Warriors got a feel-out game, and like you said, the offensive lineup is smart, but Jordan Poole will continue to come off the bench because he is a Ja Morant pylon. Ja Morant can go around him, no problem. So I mean, they have too
Play
many.
off him, have him shoot threes. That's what the Warriors were happy with in the entire first half. I just think it's strange to me that Steve Kerr sees this incredible lineup of Poole, Curry, and Thompson and says, hey, how can we make this easier to defend? What if we put another guy who can't shoot out there? That's very strange to me because they just blew him out in the third quarter. It's so easy for the Warriors when all 3 of those guards are out there. You have to guard them to 30 feet. Poole was 12 for 20, also had 9 assists. Like, this is easy. And when you're bringing him in off the bench, he's the one guy who you really have to target, and that just puts a target on his back for the Grizzlies. So I think it's better for all involved if he comes in. If he starts the game, and then you can bring in Gary Payton when you need to for defensive purposes as well.
Yeah,
so.
he's flipping it around. I think Kerr's thinking, like, we need to slow them down. We need to be a little more athletic. And so, that's why he's starting GP defensively, but it didn't really even work. Though he contributed to this game, as we talked about. I thought he was huge.
Yeah, definitely. He should play a lot, and he should get a big chunk of the minutes on Ja Morant for sure.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he can do it off the bench as well. But I'm Warriors in 5, and I would have picked that beforehand. They looked awesome in the first round, and I thought the Grizzlies looked super inexperienced, and that's kind of how game 1 played out.
Yep. Any other notes from this game 1? Really entertaining. I mean, you can't ask for a more entertaining game 1 here in the second round, I don't think.
No.
117,
Good.
116.
I'm pretty excited to see T. Morant running up and down. He was getting into it, I think, with Del Curry, or that's who he wants to.
This guy loves talking to other dads. He must love birthday parties.
Yeah. You got to give him some pizza and ice cream, man, and he'd be happy as Larry.
He must love him too because he's the coolest looking dad out there.
For sure.
Far cooler than Del.
Nora saw him just watching the game, sort of sitting there watching the game with me, and she's like, who's that? They keep showing him. I'm like, oh, that's Ja Morant's dad. She's like, there's no way that's his dad. And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, look how young he looks.
He's a granddad.
How old's Ja Morant? I'm like, well, he's like only 20. And he's like,
well, Ja's got a baby girl.
Yeah. She was like, what? She couldn't believe it. And she did see the when he had the sunglasses on, at least the Usher comparisons too. So, but he's what a series for him.
I know.
And leading into being the first hater for his son and all that, he played like crap.
Hugging his son's opponents when his son lost a home playoff
Crazy
game.
that part. A little bit.
A little weird to me.
Yeah, like really having some time for
Is
Steph
he a
and
Steph
Clay.
Curry fan? Do we got to get his dad a Steph Curry jersey, and then Ja Morant has to get his dad a Ja Morant jersey?
I mean, I think it's like Steph is at that point where everybody is just in the respect mode. I think, like everybody
I
on
agree.
Twitter,
Yeah.
everybody on Twitter, like Damian Lillard's, said that's a closeout win or some professional win, like that kind of thing. I think everybody's just like, I don't know. The pendulum swung. People hated Curry, and now it's going the other way. Like everybody respects him. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into the tea leaves. T. Morant leaves. Anyway, we got a GP. Are you with me? In game 1.
Oh, yeah. We having church. We ain't going nowhere.
This might be some of the last Mark Jackson games we get on the broadcast.
Right.
With all due respect, it may be.
If he's coaching the Kings by Wednesday or something like that. Any other notes on this game?
Just as I said about Brandon Clark post-game, he said Draymond Green is known for that kind of stuff. I don't think that's good.
No,
I don't think.
Did he say his name? Did he say Draymond Green's name, Brandon Clark? And the only reason I asked that, because I fired up Draymond Green's emergency podcast that he did right after the game, and he wouldn't say Brandon Clark's name every time he talked about the flagrant. It was like so weird to me. I was like, does he legit not know his name? Is this like a power move, not saying his name? I was so confused. Like, just say his name. His name's Brandon, or say Clark.
I was confused listening to Brandon Clark. Definitely never heard him talk. That voice came out of nowhere. But it's a real deep bass. I had no idea that was coming. I mean, he was asked about Draymond Green, and he went on for like 45 seconds about it. So I'm not sure if he said his name.
Said his name.
I don't think he did either, which is so funny.
You're looking at the transcript?
I am looking at the transcript.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
It's scary, though, I think, because Green's going to be ready in Game 2 just to mess things up. So I think that's worrisome. Like, the Grizzlies were dancing out there. I think that's great for them. They're feeling themselves. You know, Ja was dancing when Bane put up a 3, I think it was, or maybe it was Dylan Brooks.
Well, he also was when Kuminga couldn't stop him.
Right.
Can't stop me.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, so they got to listen. They have to feel good in that they feel so much better than the Wolves series, but the D coverages are a problem with the 3 shooters out there. So I'm a little worried that the Warriors are going to feel real good in Game 2.
Any other notes?
This isn't hardly a note, but you mentioned there were a lot of jump balls, and I feel like the way that the players who were not involved in the jump ball, you know, the other 8 that aren't there, crazy lineups. Like, they were just usually it's like 1 1 1 1 1 1 1. You maybe find in the pocket to tip it to, but it was like one team would overload one side, one team would overload the other. I think there were a lot of like mismatches for the jump ball, so you kind of knew who was going to win it, trying to get in the right spots. But I would love to be a jump ball like sicko, like really get into the ins and outs of the plays of it. Because it was always like the coolest thing if you could actually pull off a play off of a one jump ball. You know, like you win the tip, somebody sets a back screen, and suddenly you have a wide open layup. If you ever pull that off, it's very cool. So I'm very interested in the alignments of the players standing around.
I kept thinking about our jump ball robot idea too, because, you know, I thought they did a pretty good job. In the one thing they did good in this game, the officials, they threw a fair jump ball. I thought for the most part, I am a bit of a jump ball sicko. I thought it was pretty straight most of the time, but, you know, we've talked about the little Roomba coming out there, firing it straight up in the air. And then back to your point, Trey. I mean, is it almost weird that when we do a jump ball that we just don't stand on like 4 guys back here, 4 guys over here, and let the 2 guys just see if they can get it back to their guy? It's sort of funny when you think about that there is like this jockeying for like gaps and position.
Why do you want to be so close?
So strange.
Back it up a little bit. There's room for innovation there for sure.
I would throw the ball higher though and faster. Don't give them that chance because they're always like going over each other's arms like that. Just go in there
super high.
Yeah, wait, and when they're not ready, then just go like that.
That's why the robot would be great. Yeah. Just fire that thing up like 15 feet in the air.
Yeah.
Kane Fitzgerald's a good name for a robot too, I think.
Yeah.
I am Kane Fitzgerald.
All right. Let's take our first break, but let's hear from you guys. Your Warriors-Grizzlies predictions here after Game 1. Have you changed your thoughts on the series? How many games? Let us know in the stream team and in the YouTube comments. And what did you see from that game? We'll take our first break. When we come back, we'll obviously talk about the Bucks and Celtics. But guys, did you know Netflix has different content available to users depending on where they're located? This is for real. Netflix has tens of thousands of shows, Lee, but you only get access to a fraction of that. When you really think about it, watching Netflix without using ExpressVPN is like paying for a gym membership, but only being able to use the treadmill. Now, I actually did that, the gym part. I had a gym membership and I only used the treadmill, but you shouldn't. Don't be like me. That's dumb. What a waste of money. Be an ExpressVPN hero. ExpressVPN lets you change your online location so you can control where you want Netflix to think you're located. They have almost 100 different server locations so you can gain access to thousands of new shows. It works for many other streaming services too, not just Netflix, BBC iPlayer, YouTube, and more. Why ExpressVPN over other VPNs? Few reasons. Let me list them. 1, blazing fast speeds. You can stream in HD, 0 buffering. 2, it's compatible with all your devices, phones, laptops, media consoles, smart TVs, and more. And 3, it encrypts your data. ExpressVPN has the added benefit of encrypting your data so you can browse the web securely. So be smart. Stop paying full price for streaming services and only getting access to a fraction of their content. Get your money's worth at expressvpn.com/nodunks. That's right, use our link at expressvpn.com/nodunks to get an extra 3 months of ExpressVPN for free. Content is king, but you should be the king of consuming content. I added that. I hope they're not upset with that.
That's good,
Yeah,
actually.
pretty good tagline.
There's nothing like the feeling of getting outside, Lee.
I agree.
To run, ride, hike, fish, or just be in a hammock somewhere, we feel most like ourselves. Everyman Jack put that experience in a bottle. Their men's care products feature naturally derived ingredients, outdoor-inspired scents, and responsible packaging, so you can take the inspiration of the great outdoors with you wherever you may roam. Everyman Jack has everything you need to feel and look fresh. From body wash, deodorant, and skincare products to shampoos, balms, and oils to tame and nourish your hair and beard. Personally, I'm an absolute scumbag when I'm in nature. Went camping this weekend, and I told Laura when we were getting ready to leave, I don't even know why I pack clothes for these trips. I end up wearing the same thing the whole time. That doesn't mean you gotta smell like a bag of garbage. It's actually dangerous to smell like a bag of garbage when you're outside.
Oh, yeah.
Bears.
Bear country? Oh, yeah. If you're gonna smell like garbage, you better be in a metal container.
Yeah, or sleep in like 50 feet up on a branch like you're
exactly.
a koala.
Exactly right. However, if you want to smell good with scents like sandalwood, cedarwood, sea salt, citrus, and more, Everyman Jack will have you smelling like nature instead of smelling like bear meat. Everyman Jack uses as many clean, naturally derived ingredients as possible, like activated charcoal, caffeine, green tea, coconut oil, and shea butter, but none of the harsh chemicals that can leave your skin feeling dry. Everyman Jack uses responsibly made packaging. They're a National Forest Foundation partner, and all of their products are all cruelty-free. Nature! Find Everyman Jack at Target, Walmart, Amazon, or everymanjack.com. Everyman Jack Men's Care. Naturally derived, outdoor inspired.
So you were smelling pretty good then for Laura while you were out camping.
That's right, mate. That's right.
Oh,
Hey.
yeah.
Smelling good like sandalwood.
Oh, nice. Because, when you're wearing a great outfit and everything looks right and your confidence is soaring, you're smelling great, you walk into a room or a tent knowing you're on your A game. But if you've been struggling with hair loss, Roman can give you that same feeling in the bedroom.
Holy crap, that took a swerve, man.
Slider!
Went away from the script.
Jackson's face to me went, what?
I was waiting for it.
Roman offers a discreet process from start to finish. Prescription and over-the-counter treatments available. Fast, free shipping so you don't have to wait to start fighting hair loss. Science-backed treatments that are proven to help slow or stop hair loss, and in some cases even regrow hair. Get more confidence, baby, confidence from the top down. Go to getroman.com/nodunks, and if approved, you can treat your hair loss for as low as $20 a month. That's getroman.com/nodunks. That's it.
Oh, I didn't know if conditioner or something applied.
Yeah.
Conditioner applied.
I was confused. I thought we were going erectile dysfunction. I don't know what happened.
I was like,
I was like, oh, pitch a tent. All right, let's go. He's going to roll with it. But no. Hell of a swerve from Roman and Lee, if we're being honest. Got their fingers and everything. Eh? A little down low, a little up high. Okay, let's get to the Bucks Celtics game. Giannis with the triple-double helps Milwaukee beat Boston. The Beantown Boys take the loss in game one, 101-89. Pretty dominant victory here, Trey.
it's just one game, but no Chris Middleton, no problem for the Bucks. Light work for Giannis in game one. 24 points, 13 rebounds, 12 assists, 2 blocks in the win. A dominant game, and he didn't play anything near an A-plus game in this one. Took 25 shots to get 24 points. Thought the Celtics did a really good job of making him work hard inside, making him think about attacking, and Horford did a pretty solid job one-on-one against Giannis. Unfortunately, Giannis now has the bronze and the brain. Sometimes he overpowers people to the rim, which we saw. Sometimes you play incredible defense and he just throws the ball off the glass to himself for an alley-oop in the fourth quarter of a playoff game. But a lot of times, he sees what you're doing and picks it apart, finds the open man. 12 assists for Giannis. 7 of them were three-pointers. 1 was a layup, and a couple of more were to Jrue Holiday for like a 10-foot jumper, which is basically a layup. He's seen every coverage at this point. He knows when you're building a wall, and he's improved his passing. So honestly, what are you supposed to do? Like, I mean,
No.
what are you supposed to do?
They played pretty well against them.
Exactly. All that being said, the Bucks really won the game to me. In the third quarter, when Giannis went to the bench, 3:37 left in the quarter, picked up his fourth foul, reaching for a steal.
Oh, dumb foul. He
Dumb
knew
foul.
it too. He was
Dumb
like,
foul.
oh, God, that was stupid.
Right call, dumb foul, but great time for a Celtics run. Instead, Jrue Holiday held it down, kept an 8-point lead for Milwaukee, hit a jumper, hit a layup, played defense, kept the ball moving. They didn't take more of a lead. They didn't lose the lead, but that's exactly what they needed. No backsliding because Giannis checked in right at the beginning of the fourth quarter, dimed somebody up for a 3 right away, kept it rolling in the fourth. Giannis scored 7 of his own. He had 3 assists in the fourth quarter. Jrue had 9 in the fourth quarter, and the Bucks rolled. The Celtics looked a little bit outclassed in Game 1. Looked like they had to play against the defense for the first time in the playoffs, I thought. But I think they'll have a better effort coming back in Game 2. This was just a perfect recipe for a Milwaukee win. A ton of Giannis, a ton of Jrue Holiday, and then a big physical defense and enough 3-point shooting. So this was good stuff from Milwaukee. This, to me, wasn't stealing Game 1. Like the Warriors stole Game 1. This was the Bucks just straight out winning Game 1 and looking like the better team.
Yeah, a couple of things I noticed. I thought, first I'll start with the Celtics. They had so many bricks yesterday too, just shots clunking off the rim. The Celtics got a lot of 3-point opportunities. They took 50, only made 18. The Bucks, that's what they want you to do. They'll say,
that's the game plan.
Shoot all you want, then if we're just going to pack it in tight. And so inside, they only had 10 field goals inside the 2-point range. So that's really good. But I just don't think Boston's going to shoot that badly. I thought they got enough open looks. They just missed some bad ones out there. Marcus Smart thought he was done for the series at one point there where it looked like his shoulder was out, but he came back.
It was a stinger in the end.
So that's great. But for Giannis
but he also has a quad injury too.
Yeah, he did get beaten up a bit yesterday. But for Giannis, the 9 for 25 certainly is deceiving. He played much better than that as far as scoring and shooting the ball, but it doesn't matter. They got a comfortable win. And here's the problem, I think, for the Celtics. While they don't have that one individual defender, they've got incredible team defense. Giannis can go all day. He can just go all day.
Burke on the broadcast, Doris Burke, I think she's like, he's a wave. He just does not stop.
Yeah. He doesn't.
It's true. I think he's like a White Walker, man. He just keeps coming and coming and coming.
Like you can see a guy like Embiid sort of get fatigued. He looks a bit slower and heavier at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Giannis is like, he just hasn't taken any sort of drop off in his intensity there. Now, will the Bucks get those sort of 3-pointers they got? Pat Connaughton hit a couple of great times. They can. They're going to need them, I think, in every game of this series, because I just don't think you're going to have quite so many open opportunities as they got in this one. I just think you're going to have to knock those shots down when they get them. But overall, this was like the Bucks. Trey mentions no Middleton. They was like, who cares? We'll play with what we've got out here because Giannis can just do everything. He's so patient on offense. Now, he's got that good handle where he can dribble. He goes into the mid-range. He goes in for the layups. He took a couple of threes. He only took 2. They weren't that good. But, man, this is a problem here for Boston. But I also think they're much better than they performed in game 1. I think, wow, that was a huge step up going against Milwaukee versus Brooklyn. And I think they sort of thought, we've got a run in us here. We're going to get it. And it just never came.
I mean, it felt like they were down 8 to 10 points, basically the entire game, the second half at least, after they gave up the lead. They just could not get closer. And a big part of that, of course, was Giannis. And I think, and Doris also said this, Jrue Holiday just seemed to have a timely shot in him. Every time the Celtics maybe were getting something going, it would just like, you'd go to Jrue, or he'd get a good look off of Giannis pass, and he finished with 25 and 10. And, he stepped up. We talked about going into this series. I remember, like, Drew's going to have to play. He's going to have to fill the Middleton void, at least when it comes to scoring the ball. And obviously, at least through game 1, he did. And I think he took it a little personal, too. Maybe Marcus Smart winning Defensive Player of the Year. And he's like, I'm not so sure he's the best defensive player guard, in this league. And because I thought he was awesome. He was a lockdown defender yesterday.
Totally. And when Giannis went out with that 4th foul, as Trey mentioned, the 4th foul, bad. The 3rd foul, also weird. He shot a free throw. And then he went in to go grab, he went to go grab the ball. Weird call. So he goes to the bench, and Jrue Holiday, stepped up big time. It wasn't a taking over like Jrue Holiday, doesn't really do, but he was just doing the smart things, hitting the smart shots, playing really good defensively. And I thought the Celtics thought, well, this is our time with Giannis on the bench, and kind of rush some shots. They just don't know where their shots are coming from yet in this series, I think. I think the big worry, though, is Marcus Smart is beat up. Big time. Jaylen Brown, also beat up. I mean,
that was the worst game I've seen Jaylen Brown play in a long time.
And he knows it too. And I think he was a little hesitant. He's got a hamstring injury. He was a little hesitant in the fourth quarter. Like, he didn't shoot a three. He was 4 of 13 overall. He had a wide open three. That's JB time, baby. He should shoot the ball, but he passed it to PP.
Over left and right.
Yeah, he was not right. And that's they're getting a little bit banged up while the Bucks are getting stronger. I mean, the Bucks, they chilled out in the regular season, said, all right, we'll have a middle-of-the-pack defense, no problem. We'll give you the second seed, no problem. But they know the best team that's the last few months is on the other side, and they were ready to play. And I guess, that experience from the conference finals last year helped, where Giannis went out and Brook and Jrue and Middleton stepped up big time. Mm-hmm. And now without Middleton, they were ready to step up. Jrue was big. The 4 minutes left in the fourth, it's just these little tiny Jrue plays that seal things. He hit a three, then he came back and he got a deflection and got the steal, then walked up into another three, and then the camera went to Brad Stevens. Yeah. Brad Stevens in the press suite. What a time to put the camera on Brad Stevens, because he walked out of the suite when the Celtics were down 17. I mean, that couldn't have been scripted any better.
What if he's just taking a piss?
No way. He said bye to people. Yeah. He said bye.
I always say bye to you guys when I go take a piss.
You never know.
Never know if I'm going to see you again.
You never know if you're coming back. And I don't know if the Celtics can come back from this. Obviously, they can play better.
Yeah.
And they shot 29% from inside the arc. That was horrendous. And Tatum looked comfortable. He looked really good. Mm-hmm. He looked good shooting his shots, but it just looked like in the lane, like there was two monsters jumping at every Celtic that went into the lane, because they're so comfortable sitting back, Giannis and Brook Lopez. And the Celtics got to get happy in the mid-range and start shooting those shots.
Interesting. I mean, that's, like you said, this is the Bucks' game plan under Budenholzer. We'll let you shoot your threes. We're going to protect the rim like crazy. And Brook Lopez, man, what a monster. Just like I think he's getting bigger and bigger.
He's getting more nimble, I think. He's been moving around really well.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't play
the whole season.
Exactly.
Pretty much, so he should be fresh. But I would be a little bit encouraged if I'm the Celtics, because I think Tatum can go to work, honestly, in the mid-range. Yeah. They should try and put Brook Lopez in more pick and rolls and just tell Tatum, don't attack at the rim. Just pull up and hit a mid-range jumper. That shot is there. Just because Brook likes to play in drop coverage and he likes to be at the rim. So I think that shot is there. And I thought the Celtics also got quite a few good looks off of Tatum handling the ball. The Bucks would send two. They would kick it. Al Horford has to become the Nick Vucevic. The shot is going to be there. He's going to have to take it. They're going to have to get better shooting from their role players. I mean, they made 18 threes. 4 of them came from Tatum. So only 34%, I think, for the other players outside of JT there. So I don't know. I think they can be better. This was obviously a step up in competition. They were even saying that Al Horford said there's levels to this, and they were at another level. But there's just got to be a different way of attacking, because driving into Lopez and Giannis, it doesn't make sense. Think about how the Celtics have been so successful at defense. Horford is there at the rim, and then Robert Williams is kind of helping over the top. That's the same thing that the Bucks are doing, only they've got slightly bigger, slightly more athletic guys. So
more experience.
The mid-range game is going to be there for Tatum. He's just got to embrace it a little bit.
Yeah, I actually think this would have been a worse blowout if Time Lord hadn't done such great work along with Horford defensively. I thought he was awesome. Like you're saying, they did great on defense. They only gave up 101 points. A bit of garbage time at the end, so you can get rid of all that. But that was fine. But it was the Bucks defense was just as elite as we saw from the Celtics over the last couple months, and they got to figure out, their shot selection, like you guys are saying, because 53 pointers is not going to do it. I think you're just playing into the Bucks' hands here, unfortunately. But I also don't know how you score over these guys at the rim. They're just monsters in there. So maybe it does have to be that mid-game sort of work here. Yeah,
well, it's just the Bucks are a good defense team, but they got also good contributions from Bobby Portis. It's he needs, those are the guys who need to all chip in to cover the Chris Middleton shots and minutes there, and I thought he was pretty good for them. Wes Matthews, actually, defensively, I thought he was good. So he's throwing his body around. He's like, all right, I'll get on the ground. I'll get dirty.
They definitely came out with some physicality. Yeah. The refs were letting them play in this one. I mean, this I thought there wasn't a tight whistle, and it made for an enjoyable game in that regard. I thought letting them actually be a little physical, both sides for a good chunk of it at least. But yeah, also the Celtics just got to shore up giving up all these fast breaks. Bucks scored 28 points to 8 in fast break points. These are going to be. And a lot of those were sloppy turnovers, trying to thread these passes that are just the holes are not there. It's too tight.
Yeah, I think it was just such a difference going against the Nets.
Yeah,
to
there's
the
no
Bucks,
defense.
and they just weren't ready to
Intensity for sure.
Yeah, they weren't ready to get back on every possession. The positive sign for the Celtics is if they hit some mid-range shots, if this game is close coming down the wire, maybe the Bucks miss Chris Middleton and that shot creation, and that's got to be their hope because they did a great job on Giannis, and they got to figure, Jrue, if you want to beat us, that's probably what the Bucks are going to have to do from the perimeter. So if it's a close game down the stretch, it's Tatum versus the guy who really is huge at the end of games for the Bucks. It's Chris Middleton in these close games. So they just got to start a lot better. Take some Bobby Portis shots. I mean, Bobby was shooting from the mid-range. He was backing everybody up with the goggles, talking smack. That was cool. That was cool to see. The confidence on these guys.
He had a fadeaway
awesome,
baseline
man.
jumper. Yeah.
Portis was great. He dominated against the Bulls. I was a little bit skeptical that he'd be able to keep it going against the Celtics. I just didn't think the matchup was going to be as good, but he took it personally, and he said, if I'm staying in the starting lineup, you're going to see exactly why. Schumann had a great clip of Bobby Portis just running back in transition. Like, Bobby Portis is running harder than anybody on the Celtics. He's slow, but he's running back really hard, and that matters for fast break points. Good luck slowing down the Bucks in transition. They have Giannis. He's the best transition player maybe ever. Maybe only LeBron is ahead of him, but you're not going to stop him in transition. But if everybody's as committed to getting back as Bobby Portis was, as Javon Carter was to picking guys up full court, you could just tell that they're like, this is playoff basketball. We know what it's about from game one. The Celtics know what it's about too, but they didn't have to go through anything in the first series that they played. So good stuff from Milwaukee.
How concerning is Marcus Smart's health here? Maybe even Jaylen Brown's. Because I thought Smart, when with the wild green hair there, I thought before injuries were, picking up in these games, he was pretty good in the first half in terms of controlling the tempo a little bit.
Well, he's their bulldog on defense. He got a couple of charges there yesterday, so absolutely they're going to miss him if he can't play. But when he did pop that shoulder, that was crazy. Because it sort of, the play stopped and then he sort of went running off there like that. But I would definitely be concerned if Jaylen Brown's hamstring is causing him any problems, because he was huge against the Nets and they need him to be huge in this series. He got the shots there last night or yesterday. He had 9 threes. He took them. He just couldn't knock them in. So I think this one is one of those ones the Celtics maybe had a little bit too much time to prepare and were a little bit rusty. And also, I just think they thought, man, we're a really good team. We smoked the Nets, and they weren't quite as ready as they needed to be for the Bucks.
Any other random notes from this one? The only one I have is the refs not knowing who Jack Harlow is. Do you know who Jack Harlow is?
I was with the refs on that one.
Yeah, I was wondering if you knew. Didn't think so.
Played in the celebrity game, right?
Did he? Mm-hmm. I know Poppy Harlow, but not Jack Harlow.
Anything else?
Nice.
Tass, anything else from this one?
This is going deep here. But Bobby Portis takes off his goggles every time he leaves the game. And he put it on that little tiny scorer's table where Celtics fans are sitting right behind. I mean, they're expensive seats, obviously. They're right there. And the goggles sit there until he comes back in the game, 10, 15 minutes later.
So what do you want, people to steal them?
Yeah, they're Celtics fans.
I'm surprised that and Staffer doesn't hold them for him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They sit there in the exact same spot. He takes them off, puts them down. It's not like, when you take off a jacket or pants and they're inside out and the poor equipment manager's got to come on, man, now I got to put these back right side out. That sucks for the equipment manager. Every time somebody takes off a jacket, the sleeves go to the inside. Like he's a child. Put it back. I would be so angry if I was the equipment manager. Every time.
But anyways, back to him inside out is what they should do.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Oh, you left it.
So you want maybe next level is the Celtics fans take the glasses
or pretend pull a weird Jason Kidd move, where he asks his player to splash a drink on him. Pretend that you're a Celtics fan. You jump up on a great play and you accidentally knock the glasses 15 feet, and maybe they land on the court, and maybe a ref steps on them. At least something. Yeah, at least maybe not steal it. If you don't want to get kicked out of the game, I get it. The cameras will catch you, but something. Those glasses are important. And Bobby was great. Obviously, the sprinting. I couldn't believe John Schumann pulled that clip. I watched the whole game. I didn't see Bobby sprint like that. He sprinted like like a real slow guy. I don't even know how to call that. I mean, his hands were like up above his head.
Full body sprint.
Yeah, full Bobby sprint. Wild
So
stuff.
we were split on this series, if I remember correctly. We had a couple people going Celtics. We had a couple people going Bucks. I think Trey and I had Milwaukee mainly because of the Giannis factor, and I think we're feeling good after one game after that. And then, you guys go Celtics. So I guess what I'm getting at, any quick mulligans on this series after what you saw? We're pretty confident still Boston can do this league.
I think they'll be much better in game two. Yeah. That's all. They were too good, too impressive in the first round to think that they were almost due for a bit of a stinker in that sense.
Okay.
But Giannis, I mean, that's the thing is, collectively, yes, they can slow him. Individually, and this is, to Tass's point, like late in the game, if you do send double coverage, then whoever is open is going to have to hit that shot. Now, Middleton's not an option for them, but if Bobby or Jrue or Pat, whoever's out there, Grayson Allen. I mean, you don't have to love Grayson Allen, but he can hit that shot.
Yeah.
That's where it's not a weakness for Milwaukee anymore, because it's like, okay, you defend him straight up, he's going to beat that defender. Throw a double at him and someone's going to be open. So I like that. But just to back to Bobby Portis too, I think he's like Horacio from CSI when he puts his goggles on before he checks in. It's time for Bobby. Yeah.
We'll throw a link in the comments to our CSI video that we filmed in 2011.
There you go. And you're not changing your prediction?
Well, I mean, that's just that's a cheap way out.
Lame thing to do.
That's a lame thing to do. The Bucks, I guess they fooled me. They fooled everybody that they've got this other level. I guess I couldn't remember, a year ago where they won that thing because they were able to take it to another level. Mm-hmm. But this is this was championship, incredible defense. So I'll stick with the Celtics long series, but I think the Bucks are the clear favorite here now.
Okay, well, let's move on to at least one of the game ones tonight because we have some news about it. According to Woj, there's optimism. 76er star Joel Embiid could return as soon as Game 3 or 4 of the East semifinals against the Heat. He is not traveling to South Florida for games 1 or 2. So he's not playing in those games because of the orbital fracture and the concussion. But Lee, a reevaluation on Wednesday could clear the way for his return when this series shifts to Philly. So how do you think the Sixers adjust to no Embiid here tonight in games 1 and 2, really? And then do they have a shot in this at all? Now that we sort of have an idea, I think what we're getting at is he's probably coming back in games 3 or 4, maybe masked up. He'll clear concussion protocol, so he will be coming back. And what impact does that have on the series?
I don't really think there are a chance in Miami to win either of these 2 games, but not just because Embiid's missing. I mean, Miami's great defense, they're the home court advantage as well, and they're the favourite in the series, and it makes a huge problem because they don't have anything that they can sort of throw in as a reliable backup in terms of his scoring and his ability to play, making just his impact. I mean, he's second or third MVP voting this season, so it's going to, and you're not going to throw DeAndre Jordan out there to start.
Doc Rivers says, "Hold my beer."
Reed, I mean, that doesn't do anything. I think someone like Niang may go out there just to give him some shooting, and their best chance is spread the floor and see if we can just get hot from outside, because the big problem they have as well is how they're going to stop Adebayo. What are they going to do? If you just run pick and rolls and just throw the ball to Adebayo, he can get a dunk every single play down there tonight. I just don't think they can stop him. So defensively, they've got a problem. Offensively, they just have to hope they get hot. And maybe Kyle Lowry's not playing as well in this game.
He's out for game 1 for sure.
Jimmy Butler's had some injury concerns.
Questionable, but
PJ Tucker is also, I think, questionable. So maybe there's a chance for them to steal it if there's just not the same bodies there for the Miami Heat. But you really have to. It needs to be a perfect storm of everything to go Philadelphia's way, I think, in these first 2 games, just to keep it close. Miami's 7.5-point favourite tonight. Even that to me seems a little low. I probably would have had them double digits. I just think they've got way too much power, and Philadelphia just doesn't have anything to sort of compete with them.
What do you think?
I'm a little worried that the Sixers do go with DeAndre Jordan because Doc is a traditional man. And
maybe go old school, start him up with a post up, just like in the Clippers days.
Yeah,
that's what he always wanted when he was getting those getting courted by the Dallas Mavericks.
That's right,
you're gonna be a postman, and maybe Doc remembers those days. I hope not. I hope George Niang on the perimeter sounds wonderful. The Hawks were able to
delicious.
The Hawks were able to get open shots from the perimeter against the Heat. It's if you try and go inside, you're screwed. And that's I mean, the Heat are an incredible defense, but if you can surprise my guess. I mean, I'm not optimistic about the Heat losing either game 1 or game 2. But the good thing is, if you start Niang, Bam Adebayo isn't a traditional scorer inside. Maybe you can throw a body on him to slow him down. So, yeah, I think they should go on the offensive and try and get a shooter out there. I think that would be the way to go instead of DJ or Paul Reed.
Any Paul.
Not Millsap. Yeah,
Paul
there's
Reed
another
or
one.
Millsap. Yeah, a lot of good choices on the Philadelphia 76ers bench. But I mean, that's what happens when your MVP goes down. You got to put in a guy who's not the guy. So I'm with Lee. I think the Sixers just need to tilt the math in their favor. Get as many threes up as possible. If Bam beats you inside, he's beating you with twos, which you can live with if you're making threes on the other end. So I would assume a lot of James Harden pick and roll. Maybe you're trying to pick on Max Strus more than anybody else on the Heat, and then just drive and kick, get as many threes up as possible, and if you shoot 45%, 50%, that's how you steal one of these first 2 games with Embiid out.
Yeah. I think they can do it, actually. The Sixers can steal one of these.
Totally.
I think Harden has to have one special game in him here in Miami.
The Heat can be bad on offense.
Yeah, that's
for sure.
It's a great point. And, you know, they are missing guys here. I think Hero's even questionable.
Well,
Though he had a cold or something, so I'm sure he's playing. He'll infect everybody else out there. But, yeah, I think they can do – I think Paul Reed actually will get the start. I think that's where Doc will go. I mean, he was getting the backup minutes there for Embiid in the Raptors series. Oh, geez, if he goes DeAndre Jordan. I think he'll go Paul Reed. But I also love the idea of George Niang as sort of the small ball 5 and sort of at least open up the room for maybe Harden and Maxey to attack and get inside there and then be maybe met by Bam and stuff like that. Though that's the whole idea if Niang's out there, that he's maybe pulled away a little bit. But I still have faith in the Sixers splitting this. And that's really they have to start looking at this series as just little mini series now with the no Embiid. It's the game plan is to get one. Just get one of these games before we head back to Philly. Now, I know that's the game plan for most series, but especially in this case with no Joel. So, we'll see. I'm excited for this one tonight here in Miami. I think it's a 7 or 7:30 start, I think.
Oh, we got nighttime basketball again.
Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
You're a fan of nighttime basketball?
I much enjoy nighttime basketball. No nighttime games Saturday or Sunday?
Yeah.
Weird stuff.
It was weird.
Yeah.
It's what do you do?
Watch Hawkeye.
Cool.
Hockey
I watched Moon Knight. I'm all caught up on Moon Knight.
Oh, see, I'm way behind. I was still enjoying Christmas time with Clint Barton.
Yeah.
He made it back. He always keeps his promise. Spoilers. Sorry.
Oh.
Sorry, he made it for Christmas. Damn. Loves his family.
What'd you do?
I didn't watch anything. What did I do?
Are you ready for the hockey playoffs? They start tonight.
Absolutely.
Your Flames are in it.
They are.
Yeah.
Are they playing the Predators?
Couldn't tell you, my man.
Because
No idea.
we're just a 5-hour drive from Nashville. I've always wanted to go to the Gaylord Center. I think it's called that. Or it was called that once upon a time.
Cool.
It may have changed names. Gaylord's part of it. I don't know if it's center.
Okay.
I don't know.
Nashville are at Colorado, though.
That's not Calgary.
A long drive.
That's tough.
They were lined up to play the Preds. And I thought about going to Nashville to watch Stanley Cup Finals game a couple of years ago.
Look at you.
It's a great game live.
Oh, it is.
It's Stanley Cup Final. It's not Finals. I said Stanley Cup Finals. Wow, yeah.
Way to catch yourself.
Grammatically. They hate saying finals. There's one final. Well, the NBA says there's lots of finals. It's the NBA Finals.
No, it's multiple. There's at minimum 4 games.
Yeah, but there's just one final.
Like the Super Bowl's a final.
But what do you don't
Yeah, but
call
you
it
say
your
grand final.
final?
Yeah, we say grand final. It's one game.
One game.
It is one game. Good
Yeah,
point.
we call it the
just one game.
finals series, like the finals.
Good, you're right.
The grand final. Yeah.
Anyways, you said James Harden. It took us a while to get to James Harden.
Yeah.
James Harden's pretty important in this game.
Yeah.
Will he show up? He loves 5 spread. I mean, that's his thing. If he can do it, so we'll see.
Just back to hockey. That's
Okay,
more
yeah,
important.
yeah.
Do you think a Canadian team's going to win the Stanley Cup this
Nah.
year? Lee? No.
Been 30 years, hasn't it been, since the old...
Canadians.
Montreal
Really?
Canadiens in 1993. Patrick Waugh standing on his head.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Well, look, the Leafs
Flames before that, not too long before that, right? In 89.
89.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they've had, the Flames made it.
They went to the finals.
Sens made
Yeah,
it.
Canucks went to the
Canucks
final.
made it,
Yeah.
but can't do it. Canucks, I think, should have won. I think they were favourite when they were in it. But, you got the Leafs, you got the Oilers, of course, and the Flames. Yeah.
3 chances, man.
Yeah. Oh, man, Connor McDavid, man. He's going to bring it home. Oh, they play Los Angeles in the first round. Tough one. Tough
man.
one.
Okay.
They're at home. Home ice. Have we got Chris Cuthbert on the call? He's great.
Keep going. Keep saying all the hockey things.
Well, when I first moved to Canada, and it was Edmonton and Dallas had a great series, and Chris Cuthbert. And all I can remember is Zubov and Mike Modano.
I had his jersey.
Oh, the Flames are playing the Stars.
Wow.
There's a tie-in. Yeah.
Awesome.
Would you like them when they were the North Stars or just the Stars?
North Stars.
Wow.
Big time.
Minnesota North Stars.
I like specific
definitely.
with my stars.
Yeah, keep them northern.
For sure. Okay. Any other thoughts on this Embiid injury? Obviously, the idea of him coming back. What the Sixers do? Anything else?
Well, what will happen with Pascal Siakam? Will he get suspended?
No.
I don't think so. But the guy's got a broken face and out for 2 games, and the league. I mean, they must be sort of at least considering, like, do we have to sort of suspend him for 1 game for that? I mean,
wow. I mean, you don't think they would have done it already?
well, probably,
at this
yeah, because
point?
it happened
they're
on.
not doing it.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, I know. I'm just. It's almost like if he doesn't break his face,
yeah.
then there's nothing. But it's almost like.
But do you not think that was an incidental elbow?
Yeah,
to
of course
his face?
it was.
I mean, yeah,
of course it was. But he did break a guy's face, so
Yeah.
I mean, and he, the 2 games minimum, he may be out for the entire series, which it's almost like
that would be unfortunate. Let's hope not.
It's almost like they just almost have to say, well, we're just going to give him a game just because he missed 4 games. The guy who he hit.
I do not think that's going to be happening. I think that sets a weird precedent.
Yeah, I don't think there was any intent or maliciousness there, but again, guy's face got broken in the play. So.
Yeah. But they also looked at it
I know they did.
in the play
I
at
know.
the time. They changed the call for crying out loud at that time. It was called a defense foul. They called it an offensive foul.
Some of those are called offensive flagrant fouls.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you swing through with the bows.
Yep.
That one obviously was not. And so, it would be really weird to go back 4 days.
Oh.
It was on Thursday to say,
Yeah, well, that's the thing, because we didn't hear about it till Friday afternoon.
We were making our predictions for the Heat Sixers series without knowing Embiid was obviously going to miss some time here with the fractured face and the concussion. I guess is a real big part of this too.
Well, you talked about it on your weekend shift.
I did, yeah. I mean, do you have any thoughts on? Look, Jack Armstrong on the Raptors call is basically saying karma. It's Embiid dropping airplanes, and then he gets
on
injured.
the exact same play. I mean, going back the other way, he goes from airplane to broken wing, broken. No. I mean, the nose of a plane.
But indestructible.
No, they could be destructed.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
We sat on the tarmac for an hour and a half last week because something was going on in the nose of the plane.
Damn.
I mean, it wasn't damaged, but I think it was the computer system in the nose.
The booger.
Anyway.
Booger system.
Well, okay, hold on though. What do you think about Raptors fans obviously applauding and cheering that he got clocked in the face? Well, because there's a lot of upset Sixers fans that I was talking to on the weekend shift. About,
you mean the fans in the arena?
Yeah, and the Jack Armstrong thing and all this, and I guess probably some Twitter fans, Raptors Twitter fans, loving it. What's your reaction? My reaction is I understand what Jack was saying in the moment. Mm-hmm. If a guy is not injured, it's in bad taste if he knows that there's an injury. He didn't, so that's where the line is drawn to me. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Like I don't think he necessarily went at Joel Embiid. I mean, that's the whole thing. If you went at him, you can't go at a guy like that and try and injure a guy. But he didn't. Right. I don't think. Right. So that's what it comes down to. You trying to injure a guy? That's what it comes down to me. What do you think?
You're definitely more likely to get injured if you hit somebody in the face. So I assume Jack Armstrong's going to apologize. I mean, it looks bad. It looks really bad on the Raptors and their broadcast crew to be saying you got what you deserved, and then it turns out what you deserved was missing 2 games and likely coming back with a mask and going into concussion protocols and that kind of stuff. So I assume he'll probably apologize, which is the right thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was a bit like the Kevin Durant thing, like when he went down in the finals and fans started cheering. Like initially, you're like, yes, that guy is out, but you realise like you shouldn't ever cheer an injury like that. No one, of course, knew at the moment that how severe it was on Embiid. It was more just sort of like, he got bopped in the jaw or something like that. So if people, realise that, and look, the Raptors just got punked at home as well. Fans were obviously, they're emotional and they see a guy sort of parading around like that. So it's an impulsive reaction, but it doesn't make it right. And I think Jack Armstrong's probably feeling pretty guilty right now, and should issue an apology and apologise to Joel and the Sixers, because you can't have commentators saying that sort of stuff.
How prevalent were the fans? Was the volume of the fans cheering when Embiid went down?
Wow, they cheered.
I didn't notice live, and maybe because I was just down and out.
They showed Raptors fans, giving the airplane back and all that, because he had just been doing that. They're down 30. He's killing them. There are some, not all, reveling in the fact that he just took a shot to the face. My whole thing is, I'd like to give them the benefit of the doubt, Jack Armstrong included, that it's like, it doesn't immediately get known that he's got a fractured face. It's like you see guys get hit in the head, and it sucks. No one wants to get hit in the head, but it's basketball. It's a physical game. It happens, and a lot of the time, nothing comes of it. You're not missing games. You're not getting fractures and stuff like that. So if they know that in the instant, then I think it's a much different reaction. Mm-hmm. That's what I assume most people would probably do.
Yeah,
but
they were giving back to him what they gave. Yeah. I suppose Trey's right. Jack will issue an apology because he's a class act, obviously.
Class Jack. Does that work?
Every man. He's an everyman Jack. He's in a class of himself. It is unfortunate. I wasn't watching the Raptors broadcast. I didn't hear it at the time, and the game was long over at that point.
I talked about that on the weekend shift. I had already moved on to Suns Pelicans at that point. So
it was 29, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's take our final break. When we come back, a tweet of the night, and we'll tee up the other game that's on tonight. Suns Mavs game 1. Don't go anywhere.
Hey guys, is that piece of plastic in your wallet doing anything for you? Because the secured Chime Credit Builder Visa credit card can start building credit with everyday purchases and on-time payments. With Credit Builder, members can increase their credit history with no annual fees or interest. And having good credit, or a good credit score, I should say, can mean getting better car loan rates, or renting apartments easier, or just bragging rights around the dinner table. But don't do that, because people do not want to hear about your SAT scores or your credit rating. So continue your credit journey with Chime. Sign up takes less than 2 minutes, and it doesn't affect your credit score. Just get started at chime.com/nodunks. That's chime.com/nodunks. Now for the disclaimer.
The Chime Credit Builder Visa Credit Card is issued by Stride Bank N.A. pursuant to a license from Visa USA. Chime checking account and $200 qualifying direct deposit required to apply for the secured Chime Credit Builder Visa Credit Card. Regular on-time payment history can have a positive effect on your credit score. Impact to score may vary, and some users' scores may not improve.
I've never heard someone brag about their credit rating, but I think I'd like that. It's not like talking about your fantasy team or your dreams or anything. It's like
it's just much
proud of
boring.
Hey man, my credit score is amazing.
What is it?
Good for you, man.
It's like high 700s, 760-ish.
Oh,
it's really good, strong.
A+.
Thank you, Chime.
Bills, yeah.
Sling TV. Sometimes I miss having cable. I miss having some of the channels. Not all of them, but some of them. Either way, I'm not going back. I'm not my parents, There's got to be a better way. Sling TV is the perfect balance to give you exactly what you need for great prices. Playoff basketball? Yes. Check. News? Check. Entertainment? Check. All on Sling TV. Long-term contract? No, ma'am. While the other guys charge you more for less, with Sling, you can watch all the sports you love, including every playoff basketball game for the best price. Customize your channel lineup with all-star channels like TNT, TBS, True TV, ESPN, USA Network, and more. You can get whatever you want. Plus, you can stream the games anywhere so you never miss another play. Watch on your favorite devices, including your phone, computer, tablet, and smart TV. You can also watch anytime you want with 50 hours of DVR storage included. Sling is easy to set up and easy to use. Check out sling.com for special offers. Be confident you're getting all the playoff basketball you love for a price you'll love. Try us today.
All right, back in the Classic Factory. Let's start wrapping up the show with a little tweet of the night.
Tweet of the night. Wow.
Twitter. Okay, I got tweet of the night. So happy none of you NBA sickos brought up this stat when we were talking about the Warriors Grizzlies game because I was like, if you do, then I'm not going to have a tweet of the night. But just a little fact here that I thought was fun from by Tim Reynolds. Warriors extend their NBA record by winning a road game for the 25th consecutive series. Unbelievable streak, says Tim. Unbelievable tweet, says Skeets. That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
That is really astonishing stuff. 25 straight series lead with a road victory.
Yeah, LeBron had something similar. I'm trying to figure out what it was. I know he had a crazy streak like that.
Not as crazy as
25.
What?
LeBron specifically.
LeBron's been in 25 straight series where he's won a road game?
Yeah.
Damn. That's also a great tweet if it's true.
But not one team. Not one team like the Warriors.
Let me just, it might be more now. It might be more here.
Wow.
I know. I remember.
Well, then that's really going to...
According to Windy, LeBron won a road playoff game in 29 consecutive series.
Damn. But that's LeBron. That's to be expected.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing for the Warriors, too, here. Taking care of business. They actually... How about this, then? Let me follow it up with this.
Okay.
Since 2015, when the Warriors really became the Warriors, the title contending Warriors, championship Warriors, they're 20-2 in game ones. Okay? Out of 22. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. 2-0. Okay.
Well, the Raptors.
Stop taking my great stats and like trying to one up them.
I'm trying to advance them. I'm trying to
He was
advance
just sucking
them.
his saliva there for a second. So you're thinking of the 2 game ones they lost.
Yeah, the Raptors.
2019.
Yeah, right.
And the Rockets.
I was going to say the Clippers, but I don't know.
Grizzlies? They lose that Grizzlies series, remember?
Yeah, they were down 2-1, but I think they won game one.
Yeah, I think
They won game one in
Anyway.
2015, yeah. I thought they went down to lost the first games to the Clippers.
I thought they were on the road to Houston. But,
Man, if there was only any way to figure this out.
We'll never know. Hold on. What was that? What was that? They're 20-2 in game ones.
They're 20-2.
20-2 in game
in game
ones.
one since 2015 playoffs.
So the 25 straight playoff series goes beyond
Yeah.
that to the David Lee
Isn't that
years. Yeah.
Yep.
Good
The
for
We
them.
Believes. Stuff like that. All right, tonight's games. We talked a lot about the Sixers Heat already. Is anybody changing their prediction? Like, again, when we made the prediction for that series, we didn't know the Embiid news. I think we were all on the Heat, if I
think so.
have that right.
I think I had them in 6.
Yeah, I'm sticking with Heat in 6, by the way, even with the Embiid injury.
I'll stick with them just because
Okay.
you don't need to change before the series has even started. Who knows? Maybe James Harden tonight thrives in that position where he's like Houston Rockets James Harden, where he's just going to go down, spread the ball around, and those guys are going to knock in shots, and he's going to have 35 and 15. That could happen. He needs to almost do one of those games to make us believe maybe he's still got that in him. We haven't seen tons of it recently.
Okay. You guys changing anything over there? You guys had, what'd you have, Heat and 5s over here? 6s? I can't remember. 7s? Who knows?
Heat.
Yeah, you had Heat.
Yeah, definitely Heat. I feel like I was 7 maybe.
Yeah, I think you were. Okay, so you got a series here still, obviously, and if Embiid is coming back, that's going to come into equation. Tassie?
I am. I'm comfortable with my Heat prediction, whatever it was. I'm not. Wow. Was it 5 or 6? I can't remember.
Let's just
I think
chuck
we were
them out
6.
there,
I think
right?
it
8
was
and 7.
7.
That was me. I don't know about that.
Nah.
I think you were a 6er.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mavs Suns. I won't even ask you what your prediction was. But what are you watching for tonight in this one?
I am watching for DeAndre Ayton. I really want to see if the Suns really try to capitalize on that.
His size.
Exactly, in the middle. Because he's not just like a guy who needs to play around the rim. He's got that mid-ranger. He's got some really nice Patrick Ewing-esque sort of baseline faders and the mid-range like Nikola Jokic pushes as well. And
I think he's got a little David Robinson too, and
he's got a little
shots around the free throw line.
So I think that's where the Suns have a clear advantage. Where the Mavericks against the Jazz didn't have that with Rudy because Rudy can't do that. So will they do that? And otherwise, will the Mavs though just keep spreading it out and trying to just make it rain from outside? They can do that as well. This should be a fascinating series.
Yes, I'm excited for this one. What are you thinking?
What do you think, Trey? Because I'm still looking up Game 1 Warriors losses while I see Trey is concentrating on the series at hand.
Yeah,
Here.
what
I'm looking at the Donks playoff game log here so far. No 40-point games yet. I'd like to see a huge Luka game because that's how the Mavericks are going to compete in this series is Luka Doncic taking over and being the best player on the court. The Suns have 2 candidates in that as well, being Chris Paul and Devin Booker.
Yep.
But if Luka's able to outplay both of them, if he's able to find Maverick shooters, get a little help from Jalen Brunson, this can still be a competitive series, but the Mavs have to shoot the ball really, really well.
Thoughts?
My thoughts are that Tyson Apostle of Survivor tweeted you because
good.
got it in the stream team here.
Good. I asked him about pickleball.
Yeah, so he tweeted you. I want to talk about Twitter while it's still fun to be on Twitter because who knows where Twitter is going. So every time I can talk about Twitter, I'm going to talk.
Anything about the game?
Oh, the game.
Just gonna enjoy it.
Yeah.
You got
Listen,
nothing on
it's
this one,
Jalen Brunson time. It's Jalen Brunson mid-range time for me. I know Luka will be there, but I think the mid-range is there for Jalen Brunson to go off. I think that's the biggest key.
Okay.
The Suns, they're going to do a good job inside with Ayton. They're going to do a good job on the perimeter. I think they're going to take away a lot of those Mavs, peripheral players like Maxi Kleber, even Spencer Dinwiddie shooting those open threes. I think will be a lot more contested with the Suns, but Jalen could go off. So I know Jalen had an incredible first round series, but I think he can do, not the same, not a 30-point per game series like he had. It was 28, I think it ended up, but he should be good, hopefully.
The real question is tonight the night Jay Crowder hits 4 or 5 3-pointers?
Yes.
Put me down for a 5 for 9 Jay Crowder 3-point shooting game tonight. This will be the one.
Yeah, 6 or 7 for me.
Wow.
I've got
even
the answer
better.
to the question, by the way.
All right.
When the Warriors lost 2016 against the Thunder. The conference finals.
Okay.
That game. Obviously, they're up 3-1.
Yeah.
OKC. And,
Makes more sense.
yeah. So there you go.
And then the other one
and
was
the
the
Raptors.
finals.
Yeah.
There it is. We got there in the end, everybody. We sure did. All right, so those 2 games on tonight. We'll be back tomorrow to break them all down. Sixers Heat Game 1, Mavericks Suns Game 1. Drop your predictions in the stream team and let me know about how my tweets are doing too.
Okay.
And what Tyson said to me. Just let me know in the stream team. I won't even go check Twitter. Email in your NBA questions to nodunks@theathletic.com. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok @NoDunksInc. And get yourself an Athletic subscription. Go to theathletic.com/nodunks. I mean, our guys and gals at The Athletic, when you talk about the series get pretty heavy and intense, the breakdowns, there were like 5 articles on the Bucks Celtics game alone.
I know.
And all of them were bangers. So you got to get a subscription. Go to theathletic.com/nodunks.
I used to be a 9:15 arriver here at the Classic Factory. I'm 9:45 now because I just keep reading all of these classic articles.
That's what's happening.
That's
huh?
exactly right.
Wow.
I can't get enough.
Wow. Well, there you go.
Then I got to learn about the NFL draft. I saw the Chicago Bears got an A for the first round. They didn't even have a draft pick. Subscribe to The Athletic at theathletic.com/nodunks to figure out how that even makes sense.
I will say, I didn't realize that the NFL draft was so like a show now.
Oh, it's a party.
It was like outdoor Vegas, and they have celebrities come and announce the picks. I didn't know this was a thing.
Hey, man.
They had like Titus O'Neil come out to introduce a Bucks pick.
Like the actual pick?
Yeah, I think it's like it's I guess
Yeah, it's
quite
a
the scene.
4-day show.
Yeah.
I think The Athletic just gives every team an A just to advertise that their logo's an A. That's what I think.
Wow, that's next level.
Smart. That's smart.
Very smart. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us here. Back tomorrow in the Classic Factory live at 10 a.m. Eastern. We'll see you then. Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, the excuse for rest in NBA playoffs, that is bogus. Did you see what the Grizzlies did? They played Friday night, played great on Sunday night. Everyone was using that as an excuse for the Hawks because they had the play-in tournament on Friday, then they played the Heat on Sunday. It stunk. It's bogus. That's all.
Praise the day, people.